to the Model 3 then? So you're designing these parts. You
Yes.
worked with KW.
We got
made
the
this-
prototype dampers, yep.
Yeah.
And then we there's still no Model 3s in Canada.
Okay.
So we decided to do a trip down to California and rent one on Turo. So
Is that when you guys came here?
no.
different.
This is
is
later.
way before.
Yes.
Okay.
So we rented a car in Turo. We said to the guy, look, we want to take the car apart.
Oh my
We
God.
want to install suspension. We're not gonna drive on the racetrack, but we're gonna like install all these suspension potentiometers and all this stuff. Is that okay with you? And we paid him extra and whatever. And he said, yeah, it's fine. And we ended up renting this like really nice house in the mountains right by the Tesla factory.
Oh, and this is where the name comes?
Yeah, so that's where we got all the road names from and Page Mill and all
Wait,
those
were
roads.
you in Palo Alto?
Yeah, that's where we were in Palo Alto. That's where we rented a house, and it was this like super rich dude's house.
Yeah.
And it was we rented the guest suite. Like it's like not even a guest suite. It's like a separate little outbuilding, whatever it's called. So we were like, do you mind if we like work on this car in your driveway? It's like, yeah, but you have to give me a ride in the car because I've never been in a Model 3 or whatever.
No.
It was a really fun trip.
You know, I've had this idea too where I want to take my car and I mean, I grew up on those roads.
Yes.
Because I used to do like deliveries for my folks out there in Palo
Okay.
Alto. And I know all those roads.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
Page Mill like the back of
Yeah,
my hand.
yeah.
In high school, we used to just bomb down off of that,
Oh,
coming
yeah.
off 280 and Page
So
Mill to El
cool.
Camino and like all
It's
this
a
stuff.
beautiful place.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
beautiful area, and it was just a really cool way to start this business. Was just kind of grassroots, doing it in a driveway, and
Do you guys have
yeah.
some like photos and stuff? of
yeah,
you guys,
yeah. Like when we first did that, we had posted up all the pictures, and we took a DSLR and did a nice little photo shoot.
I'm gonna have to get some of those photos to
in
put them
the-
in this.
Okay,
You know,
okay,
just
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like
yeah. In the mountains and stuff to kind of go with that name, the Mountain Pass Performance.
so you're putting the dampers on the car, setting up the car and whatnot. So even the arms and stuff you already had at
We
the
had camber, rear camber, and
And
tow
tow
arms.
arms.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So then we made changes to the valving. We went to KW USA. We revalved the dampers. We changed a bunch of spring rates. We went through a lot of development in that trip.
And this is still 2017.
These are just rear-wheel drive cars at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And 2017 or 2018 now.
I don't know.
Can't remember.
20,
Okay.
I think 2017 was the Lotus, and then I think
Oh,
20,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
2018
Okay.
around when we
Makes
did
sense.
this.
Yeah, that's when the car released, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. Can't remember exactly when it was.
Man, you
I have a
guys
pretty
moved
bad memory.
quickly still. I mean, considering the car had just kind of got to the market and you already had dampers in your hands.
It didn't feel fast. I'm used to racing. It's like I need 2 weeks. So, yeah, no, it was really cool. It was a really cool experience.
So how did the name come about? Were you like literally like test driving the car through the mountains and then
that
Jesse
the
was
name?
in the car?
No,
or
the
something?
name just came from like, I love the idea of ripping through mountain passes. And in Toronto, Canada, it's flat. So we always have these pictures and videos from California and Europe and all these mountain roads and driving through mountain passes. And the idea is like, this company is like, we want that to make cars that are awesome to drive through mountain passes.
And our cars are made so well for mountain passes.
Yeah, dude, they're like,
That was like the
they drive
first,
great on the street. They have super flat, incredible steering feel. Like they are great for and you can silently rip around at night and no one's
Yep.
going to hear you, no one's
Yep.
going to complain. So yeah, they're really good for that. I mean, they're awesome on the racetrack too, but they're the best as like a sporty street car. That's where they shine the most. So
I do remember during COVID that I was like, oh, I've got cabin fever. I've got to get out of here.
Uh-huh.
And
you just go for a drive.
I went for a drive. You
yeah.
know, I just needed to get out and get some air. And I literally just bought my car. I had only had it for a few months before we got shut down here. And so I went up. There's some mountains behind my house, and so I went up there just for a nice leisure drive. And I ran into one of my clients who used to have an FRS, and now he was in a 911.
Okay.
He had a cage on it. He had NTO1s on it, Nittos.
Yes.
Like, it was, a relatively, prep street car, whatever. Like he had fun in it. So he was going up there and stuff, and I'm just on like regular Falcon 510 summer tires, but that car, you just can't keep up with it. It's just impossible, especially when it's just short shoots. Yeah. And that was just, I love my Model 3.
No, I know, and that's the thing. It's like one of those cars, like an E46. Like there's few cars that come around. The FRS is probably one of them, but they inspire a lot of like passion. Most cars come out and they're just whatever, another model of an existing thing. But those iconic BMWs or those, a Model 3 will be cars that will be remembered for a long time as being, the Model 3 is the first EV that is inspiring to drive, that is really fun to drive, and a good sporty car. Every other EV before that was an appliance.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
So even the Model S, the Model S, even though it had a bunch of power, was not a particularly engaging car to drive.
Or fun.
It was like a bus. Like it's not fun.
Totally.
But the Model 3, those guys did something special. And yeah, I think in 20 or 30 years, people will look back and be like, wow, the Model 3 was like a really, like we look at E30s and those types of things.
Yes.
S13s and S14s and those things.
Yeah, it was a major changing point, I think. And especially I mean, definitely, and we're all, pushing towards this, is sharing with the enthusiast how awesome this car actually is,
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's just frustrating because everyone hates on electric cars, and then every single person that you take for a ride, instantly they just converted, or at least they respect it now and they understand. So yeah, it's just like you can't give enough people rides. You just have to have a full-time job of just giving people rides in Model 3s quickly.
I mean, you could just rent out Mountain Pass Turo cars.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we
have
should
a whole fleet of MVP cars. That'd be sick. Yeah, I liked my car a lot when it was stock.
Yes.
But man, I'll tell you, as soon as I put your suspension on the car,
well, it's just because
I've had a lot of cars,
right,
and a lot of great driver. RX-7s, Miatas.
Yes.
I have an E34 M5. Like I have these kind of iconic, driver momentum, like fun cars to drive, and I just couldn't believe how well and how composed and how comfortable. I got to tell you, I have sports adjustables on my car.
Yeah.
And I take people for a ride in it, and I'm like, it's so comfortable. I don't know why somebody would want comfort adjustables. Because this is so to me, it's so comfortable, and my car's slammed.
Yeah. Well, it's simply because, Tesla spent a lot of money on the batteries and the motors and whatnot. So they had to cheap out on other parts of the car to be able to get to the price target they wanted to be at. So unlike a AMG or an M series car where BMW will gladly sell you a car with $30,000 of upgrades in that chassis department, Tesla's just been focusing on building volume, just getting cars out the door. And so we've had the privilege of being able to make these cars be awesome to drive. They already have a great drivetrain and they're fast in a straight line, but we've been able to round them out a bit. So yeah, it's been really, like I always hope Tesla doesn't improve those things about their cars so we can keep doing what we do.
I mean, it literally, getting that car, using your products, meeting some of your early adopters and clients. Shout out Isaac, BK. I got to tell you, those are the guys who we met them at the track during the pandemic. It was just, Steven is one of my very first clients.
Okay.
And so Steven and I both went down there to Buttonwillow. I think Steven had kind of crossed paths with them at the track, but didn't really go there to meet them.
Yeah.
And then I think during my time, I think it was in 2020, where I was trying to find people that I could identify with that were Tesla owners, it was hard. Yeah. I was literally just finding people who were rapping, doing PPF, and I'm like, I'm cool with my car, completely stock. I just want everything done on the chassis side. Like I want suspension. It's stuff you don't see. I want cool wheels, and I want to handle really good.
Right.
And I want to brake well. And I was like, I have to find the track guys. Like these are the guys that will think like me. And so I think I hunted down Isaac,
Uh-huh.
like on some Facebook group or
Oh,
something,
really?
like that guy and that guy. And
Uh-huh.
then I heard through the grapevine there was another really fast guy in NorCal, and it turned out to be BK.
Yes.
I'm not going to say his full name, but
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's really cool because um, these are all guys that have now shown how fast a Model 3 can be in front of all these gas-powered cars.
Exactly.
And in the early years, like when we went to, I can't remember, it was Super Lap Battle, I think they called it, at Button Willow.
Yes, Super Lap Battle.
One time, like a lot of people were not happy, because it's supposed to be a Subaru winning street class, not this microwave oven on wheels.
Yep.
But as much as some people will be upset about it, a lot of people will also be curious. And of that curiosity, some people will look into it, and people like Tony Barber and those guys, now Tony's campaigning a Model 3 and he's doing the same thing. He's upsetting other people.
Yep.
And they're getting curious, and it just, the key point with these cars is not so much the race aspect of it. It's more like a dual purpose car. If you want a car that's a daily that you take to the track occasionally, it's amazing. It's great for that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, like when I met them, I was like, where are you guys going to sleep? In the car.
Yeah.
Really?
Comfortably.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, see, we have this mattress and we can watch TV.
Yeah.
And we're like plugged into the RV
Yeah.
charger, the
Yeah.
1450
So
or
cool.
whatever. And then
So
we just
cool.
wake up in the
You have
morning
air
and the track's
conditioning all
right
night?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have air conditioning the
You're
car
not
all
even,
night?
there's no emissions.
Right.
So you can like run your HVAC system the
Yeah.
whole time, like no problem.
problem.
Heater, AC, whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's all these like strange little perks you never expect, but they all add up to just be this really well-rounded, do-it-everything car that for a lot of people that can't afford to have a track day car and a truck and a trailer and all the stuff that goes along with it. If you have a Model 3 that you use every day and you bring your kids to school and you've got baby seats in them, yeah, but you can still go to the track and be faster than, if you're a good driver, you can be faster than 90% of the cars at any track day. Often you'll be the fastest car at a track day.
and actually, that's why I got my Model 3. That's what it was. I kind of went through my, post-40 midlife crisis thing, and I was like, man, I really want like an RS7 or a 911 or something. And I'm like, I have kids. I don't think I can do this.
So the Model 3 just helps us hang on a bit longer. You don't have to give up just yet.
I was like, I'm going to be a fiscally responsible dad. At that time, the Model 3 performance just dropped to like 56,000. When they were 70, I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
But when it got to 56, and we still had a lot of credits here, we're at basically the tail end of the credits.
Yes.
Like the Fed and then the state. So I think I was into it maybe $51,000 or something. I'm like, you know what? That's a pretty darn good deal for what you're getting. And yeah, the fact that I could fit, dude, the guys can fit so much stuff on their cars. Like going to the track.
Yeah. That's crazy.
See these guys like barbecue grill, all the four wheels and tires, the mattress, the canopies, their scooters. I mean, insane.
No, Steven does a good job packing his car up.
I
was impressed.
They figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a cool car, and it's been, while we're in this niche of modifying EVs for track use, it's been more satisfying than just dyno tuning Subarus or whatever cars with cat deletes and removing the TGVs and turning off the codes. And it's just like, you just feel a lot better about it. And the hope is that, I mean, it's a microscopic piece of sand in the big landscape, but at least you can feel good about moving in the right direction.
I mean, I'm glad that you guys are pushing that envelope, and it's not just
we get a lot of
commuter
kickback.
car.
Yeah, we get a lot of kickback for sure. In terms of the climate change stuff, it's difficult. I would like to preach more, but every time we talk about it, it's like everyone's not happy. So,
and to be honest, I didn't get mine initially for that reason.
Yeah.
I got it because it was an economics thing.
Right.
And I wanted to get solar, and
Yes.
it was an economics thing.
Yes.
And the fact that it was just, and I drove one, and I was like, oh my gosh, this car is insane.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it kind of does both at the same time.
Yeah. Major, massive epiphany. And I don't think I could ever go back.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing that really kills me is that every other EV manufacturer has kind of done a half-effort job of making an EV and then left the customers totally on their own in terms of charging. So anyone that's gone to buy a non-Tesla has had to go to some, patchwork fast charging network and had some kind of panic attack because the charger wasn't working. Now they're not going to buy an EV again, and that's the bad taste in their mouth that they're going to have. And it's going to now take them another couple of cars of ownership before they'll try it again.
Right.
So to me, that's the biggest sin that I can't really forgive, is that the cars are great. It's just you didn't finish the job.
Yep, you didn't finish the job.
And it's like saying, yeah, you can take this car, but this car doesn't work at most gas stations. No one would buy that car. Every manufacturer would understand that if you sold a car that only worked at some brand of gas station, that it would be at a huge disadvantage. But for some reason, they didn't think that it was important to figure out the charging stations first.
I mean,
at the same
I guess
time, like Tesla did.
At this point now, I mean, it's almost like every week somebody's new is adopting NACS,
Right.
So
it's finally going to be sorted
finally
out.
going to be.
But like all those people that did try early, it just really slowed down how much faster everything could have ramped up.
Yep.
And that's frustrating. So
yeah, so a lot of this, I mean, somehow you were talking about motorsports and some of our buddies and stuff. I mean, you guys produced this thing that we had wanted for so long. We've already released a video on the Model 3 Challenge.
Yes.
How did you guys come up with this, this series? I know it's the first year. I'm hoping it'll happen again next year.
Well, basically, Chris Hatch has been, he's a Tesla super fan, and he's been one of our biggest supporters, advocates on the forums, and he's always been offering to help us. And he was always like, like a Tesla racing series would be so cool and amazing and inspire people. So I was like, okay, well, if you want to do all the legwork, I'll support, I'll kind of mentor you up on terms of how to build a website, how to build the base, how to do the business side of things to get that foundation. And I'll work with you to build a rule book, and we'll try and spot all the hurdles and try and figure out, because I've been in racing for a long time, and I also have seen a lot of things that don't work. So I have enough experience to kind of have a bit of a guess as to what I think probably won't work. But Chris was able to put in the time and the effort and the energy and the passion that I wouldn't have the bandwidth.
I mean,
to do that.
There's no way you could have the bandwidth to do all that.
So it's been really good. We came up with a format where we were able to make all the cars have the same speed. So rear-wheel drives or all-wheel drives or performance can all be pretty close to the same speed. We've reduced the power so they can all run longer than 2 laps.
Yep, and we did talk about that in the videos.
And we came up with this format where, okay, we don't want it to just be lapping. We want it to be racing, but no one's going to put cages in their Model 3s. And by the way, a Model 3 without a cage is way safer than a 1989 Civic with a cage. So I'm not worried about that. You saw the story about the Y or whatever that fell off the cliff?
Yeah, that was right here.
Yeah, so that's not a concern. The concern is just, okay, how do we not have guys wrecking into each other, but still be able to race? And so the concept was, okay, if you look at series like MX-5 Cup, like Miatas, it's very difficult to pass because the cars have no power, which means the braking, they spend less time braking, and the Model 3s are really consistent. So it's not like you're going to make a big mistake that's going to allow someone, they're fairly easy to drive. Everyone's close together. So we said, okay, what if we just have these detection zones, or these, if you get close enough, the guy needs to let you pass. And then if you're still faster, you can pass him again, and you guys can have this cat and mouse thing going on. So that's kind of where we came up with that idea, where you can see in these events, the guys are, if it wasn't for the passing, you would think they were wheel-to-wheel racing. They're a car or two behind, trying as hard as they can to get closer and closer. So they're not holding them back until they get within that window, whereas now you take all the risk away, because normally in racing the guy could block and you'd have to dive bomb and you'd be too wide and have half a car on on a guy, and that's how you get these crashes. But in this case, you get within that certain amount of distance, and you have to swap positions, and you can go to battle again. And so we practiced it on Assetto Corsa, where we have this online Model 3, and it seemed to be working. Everyone was having fun. So then we did a trial in Toronto, a local track. And then,
and if you guys are into simming, you've got to do that. You got to download Assetto Corsa.
Yep. And we also have the Z in Assetto Corsa as well. So if you like the Z, you can also get that. Yeah. So it seemed to work well. We got in touch with Grid Life. We told them our idea, and they've been huge advocates of EVs. I would say to their detriment. Like most of their fans at these events are not interested in watching Model 3s drive around.
I read some stuff after the Willows event.
So, but you can see that Grid Life is putting themselves out there. They're very, like, they're kind of on the same page as us, and I'm sure there's all kinds of other things that they could have on the track for those 2 hours a weekend that the spectators would enjoy better. But it's been one of those things where, again, it's a curiosity. We hope that if enough people see the lap times that these cars are doing, and that they're running consistently, and they don't overheat in one lap, and that they're having fun in them, that, you know, maybe the next time they're going to buy a car, they'll at least look into a Model 3 or some other EV. And that's Chris's idea, and that's what he believes in. And so we've kind of supported him and been the main sponsor and partner in this series. But the goal is really for Chris to be able to take it on and continue it.
And stuff, right?
It's difficult because the main problem that we have with Model 3 Challenge is that most guys that really gotten to tracking their Model 3s and really love it, have been like, oh, I want a car that's faster now. I want to go like the next step. So then they go to a more aggressive car. And there's not a more aggressive EV. The Model 3 is kind of the only car you can track, really. So we're kind of losing guys as fast as we're getting guys. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do. I do.
So it is a bit of a niche. Like I said, it's a niche instead of a niche. You know, it's an electric car thing. Guys that want to modify it's a niche, and then guys that want to take it to the track's a niche, and then guys that want to race it.
Right.
It's like really.
Yeah, just.
So I think everyone that's done it has had a really good time, and most of the feedback we've gotten has been that they enjoy it better than time attack because it's not this frustrating thing of having to go out and do one perfect lap and the battery's going down and you got to get the tires and the brakes ready, and you know it's really hard in an electric car
to do
time attack.
trying to manage it.
And then someone's blocking you don't have a good, you know, you get to have, like, these guys are like tired at the end of the day, you know, it's like 3 intense sessions, so there's definitely more track time and more of a challenge to it.
I mean, I love that you guys were able to come up with a way to limit the power so that you can run full sessions.
Right.
That was the biggest Achilles heel.
Yes.
And why I chose not to get heavily involved. I'd much rather support guys like Steven, Tim, guys who are younger and
able to do it
way
in one
better.
lap.
Yeah. I mean, but now with this, I mean, I'll probably be contacting you pretty soon to try and get one of those.
Yeah, and it's so cool because with the power lower, it's easier to be right there as well. So you have a field that the spread is not very big. If you look in qualifying, guys that have just started tracking their cars to guys that are really, really fast, it's only a spread of a couple seconds.
Right.
So you can learn from those guys, and it tightens up. So, and then we add weight to the guys that are winning. We flip the top few cars.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I totally forgot. So guys, we've got Kels in the background here. So Sasha is out here. He shipped it all the way from Canada to Laguna Seca to campaign it and hopefully make some records. So
yeah, to be honest with you, the goal with the Z is always a personal goal. We're always trying to make it faster than a professionally built race car. I don't know that we're quite there yet, but we did do a 22 today, which was the fastest
of the day.
Unlimited car. Robin Schute's
yes,
open wheel car was
that.
faster.
He did like a 1.4. I don't know what he did.
Yeah,
it was fast.
But yeah, we're honestly, the car is insane. Like, it's so much fun, and
it sounds
it's surreal to drive.
amazing.
It's like a video game, and I don't really have a way to put the feeling into words, but like nothing I've felt has ever been like it.
So can you tell, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know, but just a brief summary of like what this car is. I read some documentation
Yeah.
of how you came to find this car and
Right.
how long ago
Oh
it
my
was.
goodness. The
I know
history of
this is like,
Kels is like a big
I
thing,
know it's a big
but
thing.
long
But is there a
story
way
short, I finished racing this S14, won the championship, and wanted to move up. This 350Z was for sale, and I tried to move
in
into
California,
Southern
California, I think.
I tried to move into this higher racing series that's very expensive to run, and bought the car. We did a couple races. We're entirely uncompetitive, and have been since then building it into a endurance race, sprint race, time attack, and it's kind of just moved more into this time attack direction. And it's over the years won many records and been a pretty quick car, considering it's been pretty underpowered. So the goal was always to find a way to make it more competitive with
And
these
it's
higher power
always
cars.
was a VQ car.
It's always been a VQ.
Okay.
So it started at 280 horsepower and got up to 530
Naturally
aspirated.
Oh, sweet.
From fundamentally the same engine
Okay.
over these many years, but it's still not enough in time attack where many cars have 1200. So to bring this car more into the mountain pass business and get it, and for us to learn more and to be more just as an education project, we wanted to make this a hybrid. It's like the next challenge after doing an EV conversion.
So when did that begin on this? When did the conversion begin?
Can't remember exactly. We started buying parts for it around 2018, 19.
Okay.
We'd set a record with it in 2020, I think. I can't remember.
Right.
But
yeah.
around
Well,
that time, it's been hybrid for a few years now. And we've just been, now we're kind of in an evolution phase. We finished the body work, so now it looks like a proper GT3 car. We got a bit more power out of it. We developed our own battery, so we've made our own totally custom high voltage battery.
You got rear steer in it.
It has rear 4-wheel steering. Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's a nutty car, you guys. It's a nutty car. And I got to apologize. We're at Laguna Seca. We're in the garages right now. There's other teams still working on their cars. So
yeah,
if you hear banging in the background, that's part of the experience.
It's that's what grid life's about. There's guys partying down there. There's guys that aren't having as much fun smashing the cars, trying to get back on track tomorrow.
Yeah.
We love these grid life events because it's self-built. You gotta, put in the work to go fast. It's not just about buying a car and, going pro racing. I really like this grassroots thing.
And the level of cars here, the diversity.
Yeah, you still have really high-end cars.
Oh my goodness! This is my first grid life event.
Yep.
And it's
really cool.
It's really cool.
And the thing is, a Z is like it's something for everyone, because the guy that has a broken down 350Z that's barely running can look at my car and see that it's got a twisted frame and paint's chipped off, and they can appreciate that it's rough around the edges. And the guys that are, have all these nice pro cars can see the newer things that we've added in the years. So this car's got a lot of history, and
yeah, this car is.
It's got many different layers of paint and wraps, and yeah.
I've seen some different,
Yep.
evolutions of it, and I mean, I'm pretty sure Tim got some B-roll of this car earlier today, so he'll be able to kind of show off some cool tidbits.
We love being here. This track is perfect for the Z. It was recently repaved. The car feels like you're just glued to the road. It's crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, a 122, man, that was fast, and I'm hoping tomorrow.
Yeah, it's so nice, but that's really only after 3 or 4 laps.
That's what I'm saying.
So if I had more chances to, another set of tires and a clear day and more laps to do, because it can run many laps. It's not like a time attack car that can only do one.
We'll keep the car at the shop for you.
All right, let's just keep coming back.
Yeah, you just fly in,
Yeah. No, it is always the one thing about these events that's a bit frustrating, is that it's not like an open test day.
I know.
Where you get to really just fine tune the car. You really have to be, you're out there for 8 minutes.
Yep.
Everything, we changed the spring rates. We added 20% more downforce to the car.
You did do all of that.
We've almost rebuilt the entire suspension since the last time the car's run, and we don't have enough time to even come in and make one setup change. So we literally have to have the setup nailed when we get here. Mm-hmm. So it's a cool challenge, but it is like, I just wish we had a bit more time.
I heard you guys talking about fuel too. So there's different fuel compositions, I guess, between Canada
and fuel,
and the US,
because we use an additive to pump gas, but in California you guys have very good fuel. So we we bought some race gas and we're mixing race gas with pump fuel to try and get to that same base octane to add our additive to.
Got it.
So yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got a lot of little things going on with the car. Keep it
super intriguing. Guys, I can't tell you enough. Like, we'll put a link down below to Mountain Pass's website. You want to learn more about Sasha, his projects, his cars. I mean, from the Lotus to his Model 3 to Kels. I mean, it's all on there. They have an amazing blog that they share a lot of technical information on their products and these cars. Sasha, I gotta thank you, man, for everything that you've done. Man.
No, thanks for your support. I mean, we can't do it without guys like you that are helping to kind of continue to support us as the competition grows and more people are in the space. It's, you know, having support like that, it really is great. So thank you.
You guys did all the work, and the products are amazing.
Well, we're looking forward to the next Highland or the next generation of car to start it all over again, because we kind of are running out of stuff to do with the Model 3.
I bet. You know, I was going to ask what's coming next, but I figured that would be it as a Highland, and you know, if we get ours.
There you go.
When we get one,
we'll send you our scanner.
Yeah, well, exactly. We'll scan parts. I'm sure Steven will help you guys out too. But
Very
guys,
cool.
We really appreciate it. Thanks again to Sasha, the Mountain Pass guys. Model 3 Challenge at Grid Life. Hoping for big things next year. And again, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate you guys and all the support you give us. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.